Okay, somebody told me to talk about Conjure, so they asked me to talk about Conjure, and I'm gonna talk about Conjure. This might be a long video. You probably want to come watch this later, or speed it up, because Conjure, this is such a vast topic when we get on Conjure, because you really get to the meat of things. You really advanced in your hoodoo practice. You grounded in it when you get the Conjure. That's how I feel like you should be when you get the Conjure. But this is for the big dogs and the high steppers when you are dealing with Conjure. Okay? That's why I tell you, like, some work I see on here and it's Conjure. So I'm gonna give you a light example of Conjure where you can see it in music, because it's very popular in music, because music is a form of Conjure because of those frequencies. Okay, so you can see that too. You have, let's look at music, especially hip hop. You have MCs and you have rappers. Every rapper is not an MC. What is an MC? An MC is masters of ceremonies. So when you see these people, these rappers that calling themselves an MC, these people know how to conjure. They know how to use their words to conjure. They're using their rhythmic energy that they hold within the vibration they hold. They use that to conjure. See, everybody that rap. See, if you look at Tupac, Tupac was more like a MC. He was a masters of ceremonies. Some of these rappers, when they go in there and they start rapping or whatever, they go through a whole ritual to get them into a vibe to start their conjuring. So you can see see it a lot, you know, you can see a lot in music. That's conjure. And some people, they know exactly what they're doing. You don't have to do no root work to do conjure. That's why, but it can be, you know, I believe root work is essential because, again, you're dealing with these spirits. And again, you're dealing with your mind, your psychology, okay? Your emotional, health when you're doing conjure. Okay, it needs to be intact because this is how some of these spirits are going to be communicating with you. That's why I feel like root work is important but most people that get in the conjure, a lot of people I see, some of them skip the root work and go directly in conjure, and they're really good at what they're doing. And like I said, I see a lot of people up here, they're sharing these different spells, and then I look at them and I'm like, that just gonna take some conjure. So you not gonna know that they showing you a spell. You thinking this is something you put on your altar, but they're not giving you a full context of it. And most people that I've seen in conjure, you know, to me, what I've seen, some of these people have crazy lifestyles. You see some of these musicians, a lot of them are conjurers. And when you start working with these certain spirits and then you're not paying them, and because you'll see that in hoodoo too, you'll have some workers, they have different altars and they'll work with different spirits depending on um the work they need to do. They'll do some conjuring and go work with a spirit. But see, these people, they know how to work with these spirits. They know how they pay these spirits. They have a relationship with these spirits. And all spirits ain't the same. All the payments ain't the same. And with conjure, it's no, the possibilities are endless with the spirits that you can work with. That's why you'll see hoodoo, and hoodoo, you subject to going somebody that practice hoodoo, been grounded in it for a while. You subject to go in that house and see a altar with nothing but saints on it. You subject to go in there and see a Hindu altar. You subject to go in there and see what else? I done seen Buddhism, Hinduism, and hoodoo. Mama Bridget, you will see that, or you subject to see people work with some voodoo deities and Ifa deities in hoodoo. But a lot of them doing it safely because they've done their root work and they're going through their ancestors to do the work. That is the correct way to do the work. Okay, so that's why hoodoo is so vast, and conjure is so vast in hoodoo. But like I said, when you get into conjure and seeing people, because like my uncle, he was talented. He was a good. I know he was fine with that conjure, but his life was raggedy because of the spirits he had to work with. All spirits are not the same. And just because somebody that's good in conjure, they can do that conjure work, doesn't mean that they on the right side of the track. I'm gonna say it like that. Okay? And you have to be careful with that conjure because it can affect you psychologically. You doing conjuring and you already you haven't dealt with your psychological or emotional wounds, and you go in there and them spirits tear you up. You become subjugated to them because you ain't get your wounds, you ain't get none of that out the way, and you ain't really got your own personal power. That's why you got to be careful with that conjure. But you see, conjure is really all around you. See, hoodoo is all around you. Once you open your eyes, it's always there. Even in the music, especially in the music, especially when you talk about an MC, masters of ceremonies, masters of conjure, and then you see a rapper. A rapper is not the same as an MC. They are totally different. An MC, Kendrick Lamar is an MC. Kendrick Lamar is not a rapper. He is an MC. He is a masters of ceremonies. Really check out how he constructs his music and the thoughts that he put in his music. Kendrick Lamar is a conjurer. He's an MC, masters of ceremony, masters of conjuring. I hope that helped you. That's why you'll see some conjure in the church. Especially when they're big into music like that. Again, it's a rhythmic frequency calling on that reaches a particular deity. It gets their attention. They are attracted to it. That's conjure. You'll have some of them preachers in there when they be doing that huffing and puffing. And God said, come on in here, sit on down. Yeah, they conjuring. Some of them conjuring. And then they get to playing that music, it's conjuring. So that's the difference in between conjuring. But then knowing how and what you're conjuring. Sometimes you can be conjuring and never, I ain't going to say that because that's probably giving too much information. But yeah, that's conjuring.